And end of the day. Oh, I don't believe that, but what?
ready. Okay, good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026, and time is 9 a.m. This time, we're going to have our Board of Commissioners regular board meeting. Present are all 5 commissioners, as well as our auditor, treasurer, and accounting coordinator. And before we begin, we're doing official business, so if you got a cell phone, if you could put it on silence or whatever that they call that, that'd be great. We'll check ours, make sure we're in compliance. And then, yeah, let's get up and do the Pledge of Allegiance if you can. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, great. This time I'd ask if there are any amendments to the agenda.
No, Mr. Chair, there are not.
Seeing that there are no amendments to the agenda, I would need a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay, we have a motion. Would there be a second out there?
I'll second it.
And motion seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. And agenda item 4 today is potential consent items. Please.
Today we have the meeting minutes for January 21st, 2026, a resignation of Catherine Pittman, Administrative Specialist, 2/13/2026, and hire social worker Moran Hickerson, start date to be determined.
Okay, very well. We have 3 consent items there. Moving forward, we need a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion to approve.
All right, thank you. We have a motion to approve. Move it forward. Is there a second?
Second.
And seconded. Any discussion? I'm hearing no discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried. Agenda item 5 today is our 4th quarter service awards.
Yes, good morning, Commissioners. Today, the Todd County Commissioners are proud to recognize several employees for their dedication and years of service to Todd County. Each of these individuals have contributed time, talent, and commitment to serving our residents and strengthening our county. So we're going to ask each of you to come up to receive a certificate as I call your name. We are honored to recognize Brandy Nathy for 5 years of service. Jody Bass for 5 years of service. Yeah, we'll have you just step to the side. We're going to do a group picture. Jody Bass for 5 years. Anna Herkey for 5 years of service. Michael Allen for 15 years of service. Scott Wright for 25 years of service. Jane Gustafson for 30 years of service. Amy Zimmerman for 35 years of service. And Karina Rohde for an incredible 40 years of service. Let's give them all a round of applause. These milestones represent more than just years. They reflect dedication, professionalism, and a strong commitment to public service. So on behalf of the commissioners in Todd County, thank you for all you do and for the many ways that you serve our community each day. So we're going to do a group picture. Deb, can you help? She's my helper. Okay, I will do that. All right. Usually I can get these out of the way, right? Okay.
Okay, you're gonna have to, how about can I have those that received the award step forward and Commissioner will stand behind you?
Okay, commissioners behind.
Yeah, each on the end. Well, I'm. Mark, you might have to step up just a little bit. Oh, Barb. Okay, move in though. Looks like, there you are. That looks good. Okay. Yep, we're all good. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Cheese. Okay, we'll make sure somebody doesn't have their eyes shut.
Yay, all right, thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, all those employees for their years of service. Make us great. Agenda item 6 today is our county auditor treasurer with warrants and other financial information.
Today I have the commissioner warrants background assent for your review. Recommendation is to approve the commissioner warrants with an ACH and a manual payment totaling in the amount of $127,304.31.
Okay, 6.1, as described, commissioner warrants in the amount of $127,000, $304.31. Do I have a motion to approve that?
I'll motion to approve.
Thank you very much. Is there a second?
I'll second.
And we have a second. Any discussion from commissioners? I'm hearing no discussion. We'll have a roll call.
Commissioner Naska?
Yes.
Commissioner Denny?
Yes.
Commissioner Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Newman?
Yes.
Commissioner Byers?
Yes.
Thank you. The next item I have would be the Health and Human Service Commissioner warrants. Again, background was sent for your review. The recommendation is to approve the Health and Human Service Commissioner warrants with an ACH and a manual payment totaling in the amount of $53,174.56.
Item 6.2, Health and Human Services Commissioner warrants in the amount of $53,174.56 is up for motion to approve.
I'll make a motion for approval.
Thank you very much. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second. Any discussion? I'm hearing no discussion. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Newman?
Yes.
Commissioner Denny?
Yes.
Commissioner Naska?
Yes.
Commissioner Byers?
Yes.
Next item would be the Health and Human Service SSIS warrants. Background was sent for review. Recommendation is to approve the Health and Human Services SSIS warrants with an ACH and a manual payment totaling the amount of $118,199.51.
Okay, 6.3, Health and Human Services SSIS warrants. We have an amount of $118,199.51. I would entertain a motion to approve this.
So moved.
And a second, please.
I'll second.
Wonderful. Any discussion? I'm hearing no discussion. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Denny?
Yes.
Commissioner Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Newman?
Yes.
Commissioner Naska?
Yes.
Commissioner Byers?
Yes.
Thank you. The next item I have is the All-County Departmental Change and Petty Cash Funds Annual Approval. Background is, in order to remain in compliance with the state auditing standard and statutes, it's recommended to approve annually the change and petty cash funds across all county departments. The attached resolution is reaffirming the petty cash and change funds with the elimination of the GIS designation and transferring those dollars to the recorder's main drawer. Your recommendation is to adopt the attached resolution for the approval of all county departmental change and petty cash funds. And there is the resolution, and I believe here's the tracking that we do. You'll see that the recorder's main office is now $133, and there's a line in the GIS department. We are keeping that $30, but we're rolling it into the recorders as she is the main director of that division.
Okay, 6.4 is the departmental change and petty cash funds annual approval. And I'm going to approve this resolution if we'd like. I need a motion to approve this.
Motion to approve.
Thank you very much. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
And we have a second. Discussion. Okay, here no discussion. Take a simple vote. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried.
The next item I would have would be the restricted fund balance for Clean Water Partnership CWP loan program. Background, in February 2020 and November of 2023, the county board authorized the Planning and Zoning Department to apply for Clean Water Partnership loans for septic system. The loan application fees, principal, and interest are collected and held in the general fund. Beginning in fiscal year 2021, the county board established a restricted fund balance for the CWP loan program. Per auditing standards, this restricted fund balance should be updated annually. The fiscal year for 2025 balance is $137,844.69. These funds are to be collected and held to supply for loan repayment to MPCA. Your options are to adopt the attached resolution or do not adopt the attached resolution. It is the recommendation to adopt the attached resolution to restrict fund balance for Clean Water Partnership CWP loan program.
Thank you. So the resolution is to to restrict fund balance for Clean Water Partnership Loan Program. We would need a motion to move this forward.
Make a motion for approval, to move it forward.
Thank you. And then a second would be needed to go further.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Mr. Danny. We have a second. Entertain discussion. I hear no discussion. Let's take a vote. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And it's carried. 6-6, please.
Restricted fund balance for planning and zoning grant program. Background is the planning and zoning grant revenues arrive prior of the year of planned activity. State auditor's recommendation is to approve by resolution a restricted fund balance on an annual basis for transparent financial reporting. The balance of these grants as of 12/31/2025 is $96,264.45. Your options are to adopt the attached resolution or do not adopt the attached resolution. The recommendation is to adopt the attached resolution to restrict fund balance for planning and zoning grant programs. And you'll see quite a few of these because the money comes at the end of the year, but we do need to roll it over into the following year so that they can utilize the money.
Okay, recommendation before us is to approve by motion the restrict fund balance for planning and zoning grant programs. We will need a motion to move that.
So move.
Thank you, Mr. Newman. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
And Mr. Denny's got the second. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, we'll take a vote. Those in favor can signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, nay. Motion carried.
The next item I have would be to restrict fund balance for police state aid from 2023, a one-time distribution. Background, in 2023, omnibus tax bill included $210 million in a one-time public safety aid that was distributed on 12/26/23 to cities and counties across the state. Todd County received $712,941 from this one-time distribution. The omnibus bill also provided stipulations regarding allowable uses for this one-time funding. In March of 2024, a restricted fund was established to carry forward the balance of these funds from fiscal year 2023. State auditor's recommendation is to approve by resolution a restricted fund balance on an annual basis for transparent financial reporting. The balance of this fund as of 12/31/25 is $545,138.97. Your options are to adopt the attached resolution or do not adopt the attached resolution. The recommendation is to adopt the attached resolution to restrict the fund balance for the police state aid 2023 one-time distribution.
Okay, 6-7, the recommendation is to approve by motion the restricted fund balance for the police state aid, the 2023 one-time distribution with that balance of $545,138.97. I would entertain a motion to approve this.
I'll motion to approve this.
Wonderful, thank you so much. Is there a second?
Second.
Great, and we have a second. Discussion? Okay, I'm hearing no discussion. We'll take a voice vote. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed or nays? Motion carried.
The last item I have then would be the budget carryover accounts for canine, forfeiture, and contingency funds. Background, the balance of accounts for the canine, contingency, and forfeiture funds for the Sheriff's Department are tracked on a continual basis and require board approval to carry over the year-end 2025 balance into the new financial year. State auditor recommendation is to approve the balance annually for transparent financial reporting. Your options are to approve the attached budget request form for carryover of Todd County Sheriff's Office accounts, or do not approve the attached budget request form. The recommendation is to approve the attached budget request form for carryover of the Todd County Sheriff's Office year-end 2025 account balances for the canine, the forfeiture, and the contingency fund in the amount of a total $104,694.95.
Okay, 6.8, we have a recommendation to approve the budget request form for carryover for Todd County Sheriff's Officer 2025 in the amount of $104,694.95 for those funds, canine forfeiture contingency. To move forward, we need a motion, please.
I'll make that motion to approve.
And a second's needed now.
I'll second.
Thank you. Discussion? All right, here no discussion, we'll take a voice vote. Those in favor can signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Denise. Next up on our agenda today is our facilities team, and we're going to talk about the Expo Building movable wall.
Good morning, everyone. So
morning.
the topic for my agenda is the Expo Building movable wall. The background is the Expo Building movable, forgot the word wall in there, I apologize, on the west end is in need of replacement. A bid was submitted by Eagle Fabricating to remove and build a new wall for a cost of $18,875. The options are to approve the bid from Eagle Fabricating to replace the movable wall in the Expo Building for a total cost of $18,875, or do not approve request. The recommendation is to approve the bid from Eagle Fabricating to replace the movable wall in the Expo Building for a total cost of $18,875.
Okay, the recommendation here is to replace this movable wall at the Expo Building for a cost of $18,875. We need a motion to move that forward.
Could we have some discussion, Mr. Chair?
Of course, yes.
Okay, and I missed the last facility meeting, but the movable wall is the one that the hockey uses to enclose the west big door.
Yeah, so a little bit more background, and I was gonna get into this a little bit. So what we're talking about is the viewing area on the west end. There's two walls that we've moved in the past. Excuse me. We usually move them typically 2 to 3 times a year, depending upon who's using the Expo Building. They've been original to the building, and they're wood framed right now, and they're in tough shape for moving back and forth. Wood obviously shifts as it moves. It's very heavy, very cumbersome. Lee from the SDS crew is the one who helps us out quite a bit with it. It is very unsafe to move at times too. And we've kind of been scratching our head for a while on how to do this. We went and got a bid, and we've actually looked for other bids, and nobody's really interested in it, to be completely honest. And what it's gonna consist of is the glass is gonna be removed. We're gonna do smaller glass. It's gonna be aluminum framed, custom built on site because the ground is on level, and then it's gonna be wheeled. So it's gonna eliminate a couple things. One, we've had to hire people to move it in the past. So there's a cost involved there. Number two, the danger of trying to move it, and then, the amount of people we need to move it is always a problem. This will be on wheels and a hinge system. We can move it easily back and forth. How many times a year we move it really depends on how many times it's really getting used. So yeah, that's the wall we're talking about.
Okay, I guess my question is, when the Ag Society comes in and we're relating something with the Ag Society, we usually ask if they have grant or funding money that could help us with this. This is usually, isn't this more of a hockey type?
So for
Wall in
us,
there?
it's utilized a few different ways. It just really depends on who uses it. We did have the XID in at our fair board in at our last meeting. Some of their grants can cover items like this, but this particular item wouldn't have had a chance of being covered. We did not ask the renter if they had a grant opportunity, but this is part of our building and part of the actual structure, so that's why typically we take care of these type of items.
Mr. Chair, if I may, I attended that facility, and
Okay.
Mitch is correct. The Ag Society people that did attend gave us a laundry list of things that they were looking at, not to be done right away, but in the future, and the store was mentioned. So, and
Yeah.
we did ask them if they had any grant funding. At that time, they did not, and they didn't know if their grant funding would cover something like this.
Okay, I guess I was looking towards the hockey,
Yeah,
if hockey had any money to help
we
for
can.
the moving of this or not.
We can talk to him about that. The thing usually when it's a structural thing that we move, typically we have taken care of it in the past. It does directly affect hockey, but it also directs other individuals that use it as well. So that's why we've tend to do this on our own, I guess, if you want to call it.
And
So-
I can verify with what Mitch is saying about moving the wall, it's getting
Yeah,
very
it's-
dangerous year after year.
Yeah,
And
it's
it's
a dangerous concept, and we're relying on somebody like SCS who really doesn't know exactly what they're gonna have for help. My staff alone, we cannot complete the task because it's so heavy, so.
So, Mr. Chair, this won't start till after April, right?
Yes, I've indicated to the bidder that it'll be done in between the fair time, which they have it the 2 weeks prior to the fair, and after hockey's lease is up, they will come in, then demo it, and then build it on site. So yes, they're clearly aware of what they need to do in between time, so.
Where's
yep.
that going to be stored then? Like
It-
during the fair? I mean,
So
you're
it'll move just like before. So the wall typically sits flat, so it's a viewing area, and then opens up, for the fair. And that's how it'll be when the fair gets there. And then we'll obviously be able to move it back and forth, and we have other events that come in. We do utilize that, we have utilized that in the past when we had the COVID times as like a drive-through item as well. So that's another item that, we've moved that wall for in the past. It just really depends on the year on how much it moves, so.
Okay, great, good discussion. At this time, if there's no other discussion, we would need motions to move this forward, as I previously mentioned.
So moved.
And we have a motion,
I'll second it.
and we have a second. Further discussion? I'm hearing no further discussion. Let's take a voice vote. Those in favor can signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
And next up, agenda item 8. I'm glad we're doing something safe. That's good, Mitch, thank you.
Yeah.
Agenda item 8 is county assessor, and we're going to try to get a date for the 2026.
Good morning, that's correct. I'm here today to request the scheduling of the 2026 County Board of Appeal and Equalization. A little background, Minnesota Statute 274.14 states that the County Board of Appeal and Equalization must meet after the second Friday in June and may not meet after June 30th. They must be an evening meeting and cannot end prior to 7 p.m. I have a few dates listed under options there. That is Monday, June 15th through Thursday, June 18th. If you guys want to pick one of those dates, then we can move forward from there.
I would like to see it either the 15th or the 16th. And the 16th is a board meeting in the morning.
Let's see what day, June? That's a long way out.
Well, my calendar is not that far forward, but I kind of agree that both those days work for me. But
The 16th and the evening of the boardroom, it looks like there is a meeting scheduled for CEC. Kristen Sarala, I'm figuring out what that is exactly, because that's the extension, has reserved it.
I'm fine with
And that's the evening of the 16th. They have it from 5:30 to 7:30 PM in here in the boardroom.
15th also, though.
Should we go with the 15th then, Monday night?
I'm fine.
I'm good with, I think, Monday night.
Okay.
Bob, are you? Yeah, I'm
Oh,
good.
that's free. That's open.
That's fine.
I'd make a motion to have it on June 15th, Monday, June 15th at 7 PM.
Okay, we do have a motion on the
Seven.
floor. Would anybody want to second that?
Are we going 7 PM?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, what time did you suggest?
It can't end before 7. Historically, we started at 6 and then
Start
we're
at
out of
6.
here. I hope.
Yeah, we could
5.
start it earlier.
6 to 7?
Yep.
15th at 6 PM? Is that what we
Beginning
have
at
on the
6
floor now
PM.
as a motion?
Yeah.
Okay. 15th at 6 PM.
I'll second that.
And now we have a second. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're set. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Agenda item 9 today is our recorder. And we're going to talk about the reclassification of a generalist to deputy county recorder. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yes, I am here for the topic of the reclassification of the generalist to the deputy county recorder. The background is the Todd County Board of Commissioners on November 4th, 2025 approved the organizational chart to be updated to reflect the generalist position be solely under the Todd County Recorder's Office. On that same day, I had discussion in a work session to discuss a generalist position to be reclassified as a deputy recorder based on the current job duties, and then ultimately, therefore, eliminating the generalist position. So the options would be to accept the reclassification of employee number 748 to be deputy recorder, or not to accept the reclassification of employee 748 as deputy recorder. The recommendation would be to accept the reclassification of employee number 748 to be deputy recorder and eliminate the position of the generalist effective for the pay period beginning February 8th, 2026.
Thank you. So before us, we have a recommendation to move the generals to deputy county recorder and eliminate that general's position effective the 8th of February, which is what, next Monday?
Saturday or
Okay.
Sunday.
If there's any discussion, I could certainly open it up at this time. Otherwise, we'll take a motion to approve.
Oh, make the motion for the approval.
Wonderful. We do have a motion, so a second would be needed to go forward.
I'll second it.
Thank you so much. We have a motion and a second. At this time, I'll ask for final discussion. I'm hearing no final discussion. Let's take a vote. Those in favor can signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? We have a carried motion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
This time, we're on to Todd County Solid Waste, and we have a CAP grant second agreement. Is this a Zoom call? Is this a Teams deal or Zoom or a
Yes.
buggy
Chair,
call?
Can you hear me talking?
Yep.
Good morning, Chris.
Good morning. Thanks for your time, Chair and Commissioners. Before you, we're looking for your authorization to sign a second CAP grant agreement with the MPCA. This is related to the solid waste transfer station project. The solid waste CAP grant funded project received 2 grants from the legislator. The first was for $4 million through state bonding. The county executed a grant agreement for this and has spent all the money and been reimbursed for all that money. The second grant is for $2.795 million. The project is substantially complete, but we have not received any of the funds for the grant, for this second grant. In December, we received a draft of the grant agreement, and we reviewed it and provided some comments. Attached is the revised grant agreement. Essentially, for us to receive the money, we need to sign this grant agreement. We've reviewed it and we recommend its signature. Your options are to authorize us to sign it. It's a DocuSign document, so we go online and do that. The other option is not to allow us to sign this, and we'd recommend authorization to do that so that the county can receive this money. And maybe if I could just add, I think it was around January or February of 25 that we came to the board and by resolution received permission to use funds from the general fund to pay for this, I'm going to call it this gap. So when we get this money will go back to the general fund to pay you back for that. I'm going to call it a gap financing that you provided. That's all I have, Chair.
Thank you so much, Chris. So the resolution, or it was a resolution, but the recommendation, I guess, is to authorize the DocuSign for the 2.795 million grant that needs to be signed to get the money back to Todd County. So CAP grant second agreement. Would anyone like to make a motion to move this forward?
So move.
Wonderful, thank you. Commissioner Newman, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Commissioner Denny's got a second. Discussion, anyone?
Chris, excuse me, Mr. Chair. Chris, once this is signed, how long will it take for them before we see anything?
I would like to know that too, Commissioner.
Right.
I just know that the sooner we get this signed, the sooner we'll find out that next step. They have honestly been processing payments for other work quite promptly. So I'm gonna just make a real guess, and I would like to believe that in the next 2 months we'll receive the money.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't get the money until we sign, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, let's take a quick vote. Those in favor can signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carried. Sign it, please.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Chris.
This time, we are going to move into standing reports. We'll start with Auditor Treasurer, please.
Today, I'd like to just review all the election information. I do these election announcements because we do get several phone calls, especially.
That'd be good, especially because of the caucus coming up and the elections that are coming up. We do get phone calls, and this way, if we can get them in the public notice, that helps our office. So the first thing I have is the caucuses. The caucuses are set up for this evening at 7 p.m. The meeting location depends on which political party you wish to attend and where you reside. The person can use the Caucus Finder link to find their specific meeting location at caucusfinder.sos.mn.gov. Also, the upcoming elections are February 10th is the Osaka School Special Election. March 10th is 21 of the 28 townships will be holding their officer election. April 14th, Little Falls School has a special election, and April 14th, Staples Motley School has a special election. And then the only other thing I have to announce is next week is our MACO conference, and that is for recorders and auditor treasurers. So both Kim and I will be out of the office. And that's all I have.
Thank you so much. We'll move on to the county coordinator report.
Okay, I attended Personnel Committee, Paycom meeting, employee interviews, our weekly check-in with Todd Wadena Community Corrections, a meeting with our insurance carrier, tour of the Expo building with our U of M grad student intern, attended the Long Prairie Energy Workshop, and the Todd County Holiday Party.
Very good. Commissioners, Randy, can you start us off, please?
Okay. Attended a comp plan meeting the other night, and if the three of you guys should request a copy of the old comp plan for 2001 and forward.
Where do we get that?
Well, we should be able to get it from administration, so.
Planning and zoning, wouldn't you think so?
Or planning and zoning, but administration should have it. And that'll give you guys an idea. You go through it and see, that was a 20-year plan. What did we accomplish in those 20 years? What haven't we accomplished? It's got a lot of valuable information in it, so if you guys do get time, review that. Attended the CPT meeting in Morris. We continue to work on programming. We're redoing the building over there that we purchased from, I think it was Morris Electronics. So better office space, better space for our employees and stuff like that. Attended the MRC meeting yesterday. It was interesting that Representative Franson from Douglas had brought up the fact of possibly taxing plastic bottles, which was interesting. It was a short meeting, wasn't very long, and then it was just basically a brief follow-up when session starts on February 17th on what our priorities are with MRC. Also attended Todd County Parks and Trail, or Todd County Trails meeting, the Snowville Trail meeting on Sunday night. Answered all their questions. You guys should have got more information last week on their inventory, so you guys, any questions, let me know. And then attended the holiday party, and that's all I got.
Thank you for that good update. Mr. Becker, you got?
Yes. On the 21st, we had a policy meeting here. And then on the 22nd, I attended the Friendly Rider meeting in Wadena. They're in the process of putting up a bus garage and going to propane buses. It's a state program that they're into. On the Wadena, Friendly Rider, yep. And that comes into the northern part of Todd County, Eagle Bend, pretty much north. I think they come down to Barbara, actually, and then north. Was not able to make the facility meeting. On 27th, attended the comp meeting here in Long Prairie. The next comp meeting is the 19th of February, and they're getting to the point where probably a few more commissioners attending that meeting will probably be helpful. And so I'm wondering if we should maybe advertise that more than 2 commissioners might be attending.
We did post that for the
You
last
did.
one, so
Very
we
good.
can.
Thank you.
Good, thanks.
We can post it again.
Okay, on Friday, I also attended EMS in St. Cloud, and that's a regional one. And their major concern is funding, again, that the state funding, they used to run everything off of seatbelts, and the seatbelt funding is going down. And so for them to continue to be there, they have to find state funding, or they'll have to come back to the counties to get funding. So that was one of our main topics. Attended the holiday party in Clarissa Friday evening, and thank you to the Wellness Committee. I thought they did an excellent job. Next year, we're gonna go into the, what was the game you guys played? Trivia, because Barb Newman is good. She had all the answers there.
Yeah, holiday trivia
We'll
probably
be
is
up
her jam.
next year. And then yesterday, I went on and listened to the Rural Minnesota County Caucus meeting also. It was a short meeting, it was only like a half hour. The other thing, I attended the Todd County Trails meeting also with Randy, and the DNR was there, and he made a real good, he said it's like a 3-legged stool. You gotta have 3 parts, and all 3 parts have to work together and be in agreement to things moving forward. So the county does have a role to play because we're their financial host. And today, from 5 to 6:30, we have a public health advisory meeting. That's all I have.
Okay, well, that's a lot. Tim?
Yeah, just besides the regular meetings, the only update I have is at Prairie Lakes, we had a crack and a hole in one of our main steam lines going to one of our main providers. That's being fixed or reconstructed right now. We got our plant manager Brian and his lead Scott are working on that, along with the supplier as well. So there's just a little bit of, like I said, of a hiccup there. So if you see that in the paper or whatever, that's what that's about. They're just they kind of shut the steam line down during the really cold temps, and it caused a major crack. So other than that, that was the only drama out of my meetings for the past week. But that's all.
Thank you. Good, Oscar.
Yeah. Excuse me. Last week, or since our last meeting, we did have our final wellness committee meeting that we planned that holiday party, which, yeah, hats off to the ladies there that to do that because it's a lot of work to put that together, and they did a fantastic job. Food was great at the ballroom again, as usual. I had some leftover meatballs last night. They were still pretty good. We had our TRICAP meeting on the 22nd, finance and regular meeting. Just some, I guess, some housekeeping things for their banking and financials. They were able to reduce some administrative and accounting requirements and consolidate some benefits, so it's nice. Takes a little time off the administrative staff. And then housing and redevelopment, we had a new board member, Verna Tenyon, in Commissioner Newman's district. So we filled that seat in the HRA there, so that's good. It's nice to have that assistance and a little fuller board than usual. So that's all I have for updates.
Thank you so much. I was at facilities, had a couple of finance meetings, personnel, attended the holiday party. Thank you to Jim and Becky, Pratt, and Clarissa Ballroom for a wonderful meal, and for the wellness committee. You guys did a great job. Had a great time. And that's it for my update. This time I'd ask for recess.
So moved.
All right.
Second.
Seconded, and all in favor of recess?
Yep.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're in recess. Give us 10 minutes.
Nice.
You gonna stick for work session?
For a little while. I'm gonna take off from here about 10:30. Yeah, my mom she was airlifted to St. Cloud this morning.
Danielle said that she may have to leave, so.
Yeah, I think she's gonna meet me at home. We're gonna drive down, so.
Okay. Let me
Yeah,
know if anything, right?
yeah, no problem.
Sorry, man.
Well, yeah, it's, I think everything's gonna be okay. She's probably either gonna have to have a bypass or a stent done. So she's fine, I mean, as fine as you're gonna be. Stable, yeah, everything's good. They gave her some nitro pills or whatever and for pain and whatnot, so I think it's just a what procedure am I in type thing now, but I don't know when, so I'm gonna go see her before any procedure's done.
Yeah.
So
If you need me to cover a meeting, let me know.
no, I think we're okay. I don't have anything that's really important.
Yeah.
Well, tonight's a pretty good day for me. No meetings.
I'm good, thank you though.
No meetings today.
Good what?
Other than this meeting, no meetings in the afternoon, so that's good.
Perfect.
So I'm probably gonna bug out of here about 10:30 if
Yeah.
that works. Well, it's gonna work. I don't give a shit. Work session?
But I would like to know more about that work
Assessment.
and where your discussion goes with that, so I might just give you a call
You can.
after.
Let's just say maybe because depending on I might not be here. I've got a jet sometime in the middle of the
We can get you
meeting.
filled in.
Yeah,
We can get you filled in.
so,
Yeah.
because I'm kind of curious about where they're going with all that. with these
Right.
addresses.
Yeah,
So,
yep,
all right.
likewise.
Yep. See ya.
That's what we're talking about with the whole, what, time farm assessment?
Is that what that is?
I don't know.
I don't even know what that is. That why? Because we got Ken and Bill here.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten around for 2 yet.
I don't know.
Larry's here.
Yeah. I don't know.
Use of Earth assessment. So now that they approve
Barb Newman.
variance, it goes to planning and zoning or to
Right.
planning commission.
Oh, Barb is good. Boy, we would have wiped you.
They still don't have to.
That's why I
grant.
said, next year, oh
No,
no.
that's why I don't understand, it's like, yeah, that's why I understand, like,
That's fun.
we have to grant.
It
it?
We can
was.
still kill it too.
At least it was quite good too, you know,
I
we
think
had
we
our.
can't, but.
Yeah, I'm ready. You guys are,
Turn
everybody
your
else ready?
microphones on there.
Sorry. Okay, the time now is 9:45, 9:45-ish, Tuesday, February 3rd. We're going to begin our Board of Commissioners work session agenda. Slight change to our agenda. We're going to move agenda item number 1 to the bottom, so it'll become 5, which means our first presenters are the Board of Adjustment use of earth assessment. So floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Commissioners. This is following up from the previous work session where we had discussed the use of this earth property assessment document as part of our variance review process. So I've brought a few of the members of the board today, Larry Bibas, Bill Burscheit, and then Ken Hovitt as our crossover member with the Planning Commission. So a couple of clarifications or things I want to make a little more clear from the previous meeting. The use of this document is just a tool. It would not be a formal decision-making thing. The score would not, the granting of variance wouldn't be dependent on the score. It's just an information gathering tool that'd be part of our application packet. The criteria for granting a variance from the statute and the ordinance would still be applicable in actually deciding whether the variance be granted or not. Another piece of the conversation was whether we would, or how the form would end up getting filled out. Because this would be part of our application packet, it would be the landowner's responsibility to actually go through and fill this out. However, if they wanted to schedule a time with staff to go through it and have staff score it, which then you'd be eligible to kind of participate in that soil and water side of things of getting the property scored. They may choose to do that, then it's completed as part of the application. And the last thing I wanted to note, and Barbie, you had raised this about situations where you maybe have differing zoning districts on a singular property. We'll have to flesh that out in its entirety, but we may have to, the language in the ordinance would include, which zoning districts would this be applicable in? But secondly, to kind of eliminate situations like that, we could be more specific to requiring that specific types of requests would have the assessment done in the application process. So I don't know exactly what your property looks like off the top of my head, but it's very unlikely that you would maybe have an impervious surface request for a variance or a lake or river setback. So maybe this isn't as applicable. That way we can maybe make it exempt from having to be completed in situations like you raised last time. I just want to make those clarifications. So really what we're just looking for today is the thumbs up, the go ahead to continue to kind of dig into this, put it out for public hearing, and then get it to the Planning Commission to really work through it and put all the details together. But I wanted to give the opportunity to these guys to speak a little bit about how, kind of what the vision was for using this form. So if anybody wants to start, feel free.
I would just like to add that my view on it is it's a significant education tool. No matter how you score yourself as you go through there, I may score it completely differently than another individual would, but the educational value in reading through that pamphlet and applying it to your own property is huge, and education is 90% of achieving water quality and achieving some environmental benefit.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and it's the education, I think, is what this is all about. If you don't live on a lake, I mean, there's still things in here that apply. Well, what about, my field is eroding, what do I want to do with that? I want to look at it, and we're not going to tell them they have to do this, If they ask us questions, we'll answer them. We can give them suggestions, but it's just a suggestion. It's not something that they have to take and run with. The decision is theirs. They will have this all filled out with their application. When the person on the Board of Adjustments goes out and does a site visit, they will have this with them, and they can look at it and they can say, I agree 100%, or hey, have you ever thought of this? I mean, this is education. This is not hard and fast. We're going to carve it into stone. I mean, bottom line, decision-wise, is not ours, it's theirs. But we can provide them with information.
Yeah, I could add to, I certainly agree with these first two assessments by all means. But I can add to that, I like the Earth program because it's written objectively, meaning that pretty much anybody can pick that up, go to your lake property and assess that property. A lot of the questions are yes or no, easy enough to answer. And in the end, it'll give you a good overview of how well your property is attuned to conservation and pollution and that kind of thing. So I certainly like that part. To look ahead into the future, probably a few years, I can see something like this being used by a lake association as an informal contest, maybe. Have an awards night or a conservation awards night or something to that effect. A lot of different uses that way. And to probably even look a little further ahead, I can see this as being, like Adam alluded to, part of our application of our variance. But even farther than that, I can see where the Board of Adjustments would look at that score as it comes in with the application. And let's say their property scored 35. Maybe as a condition, we could ask them to get their score up to 55 in a year or something to that effect. Without getting into the details that we have done that a few times, but we're not experts in conservation measures on a lake. I mean, we can talk about rain gardens and we can talk about rain gutters and all that kind of thing, but we're not the experts there. But this program lays it out where the property owner would have quite a few different opportunities to improve his score. So I can see a lot of uses for it in the future.
I would like to say that, and Ken brought up, lake associations and everything, people wanting to upgrade, their properties and stuff. I'll just say that this summer I was out on Big Swan when they did the elm treatment. And we were talking about different things on Big Swan. One of them was this Earth program, which some of the people had already started on. And there was one person apparently that got a silver rating, and his neighbor got a gold rating. So the guy with the silver rating wanted to know what he needed to do to get it up to the gold. So, I mean, it started kind of a little contest just to get their stuff updated, to get their stuff so that it was environmentally sound. And I can see this going to, I mean, this is maybe a far-fetched, comparison kind of deal. But at the same time, I live on Little Birch. We have a meeting every year between Big Birch and Little Birch. It's called an educational meeting. We want to get Deja out there and whoever, Josh or whoever, to come out and talk to us about this and see what everybody can do. We want to get people to sign up. We want to get people to take responsibility for their actions and make things better.
Anything else?
Mr. Chair, there's one thing in here that I don't see, and that number one would be having your property surveyed. That has been a really big concern on Osakis. You've got people coming in, you're buying a 60-foot lot, and a realtor says, no, you have a 75-foot lot. In reality, you only got a 60-foot lot. So that should be part of this, because people need to know where their property lines are. Okay? The other thing is I do have a lake lot on Osakis and have kept the natural vegetation on there. I've had multiple people tell me I should cut the shit down because it looks ugly, but it's natural, okay? You look on both sides of me and everything's mowed right up to the lake. You're not gonna change that, what is happening out there, because it's pretty common. People are just gonna keep continuing to mow up to the lake. They're not gonna come in and do a 30-foot buffer strip. And, you know, it's really hard. So I understand this is a good tool. I think the Lake Association, the Osakis Lake Association could use this as a tool and educational piece, but to get the people to follow this, barking up a tree, so.
Thank you. Any other commissioners mind to comment?
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think it's good to have information, educate people, especially about their own property. But I do see value in having this info available when it comes time to a permit, whether they want another existing structure put on place or they want to do something or a retaining wall. I mean, that could just give the planning and zoning or board of adjustments, either board, some right off the bat information to say we already have three sheds and you have this much runoff already. You know, we need to reevaluate or we need to put in some a larger buffer to allow this or whatever. It gives some talking points for conditions or, you know, how to permit a piece of property. So I like to just have more information. I don't know how many meetings that we have to table to gather more information about a site or another visit or have a landowner come in and explain the lay of the land. So this is, like I said, more info, the better. You can make better informed decisions on property. But yeah, I don't think it's not enforceable, but I also don't think it's intended to be enforceable. I think it's just to, like I said, gather information and make good informed decisions going forward about their property.
Do you really think, let's say Jim and Judy come up from St. Cloud or Minneapolis or Albert Lee or Austin or somewhere, they buy a piece of land, do you think they really understand what our ordinances are? They probably look at this picture on the realtor site and go, oh, Lake Osakis, great fishing lake, let's go, right? And then they get there and they mow stuff to the whatever and they rip wrap, but they don't, I mean, one of the things that you said from an educational standpoint is there's probably a lot of value in making sure people know you buy a lake or river lot or whatever that these are some of the guidelines, these are the ordinances that have to be, you know, that to me is probably the biggest value of this personally, unless, as I see it. And keeping it objective is also very, very important because as soon as it becomes subjective, now we got he said, she said stuff, and that's, nobody wins. Those are my two comments. Keep it objective and make it very educational, something that a potential, someone buying the land knows what they can do or can't do with it.
May I follow up to a couple of those things? To your point, Commissioner Byers, we are kind of in the process of creating an educational document. So if we get, if we get a mailing list of properties that change hands, we can mail this information piece out to kind of educate people on those exact things. Secondly, back to Commissioner Newman, I'm glad you brought up the survey requirement. My goal in the end would be to have that be a part of our ordinance, that and required in the application, that if you are applying for a variance for lake setback, sideline, impervious surface, road setback, anything like that in shoreland, you need to have a survey done and submitted with that application. I'm sure that that's a great piece of information that you all like to see also, and for us to know and the board to know that you're making a decision based on real life measurements, not any sort of have to make assumptions or anything, is critical for these guys to make an informed decision. So if we get the thumbs up to move forward on this, I would love to include that as part of this new language, that we include that ordinance requirement for surveys be submitted in the application also. I think we encourage everybody to do it, we just don't have it officially in our ordinance at the moment. And I also agree with you. I think to get somebody or any landowner to follow all the criteria in that sheet is nearly impossible, but I don't think that's the end goal. It's just to make people aware of the impacts that they have on the lake from their individual property, and maybe using that to get them to make a few changes, or the board can use that to set conditions that would make improvements or and mitigate for any of those adverse effects if a variance was to be granted. Those are my follow-up comments.
Any other discussion?
I got a little bit here. I 100% agree with you on the survey, because, you know, we're giving a distance based on a non-exact line. You know, you got to put that line on the ground and say, okay, your variance is 3 feet closer to the property line, whatever it needs to be. And if we can get something like that in there, then there's absolutely no variability. It's set in stone. Here's where it is. Here's where that line is, and there's no guessing anymore. I mean, it's a lot of guessing right now. You guys deal with that stuff, and these people.
So when someone said they thought they bought 75 feet of lakeshore, it was really 67 feet. Then they're like, well, the realtor or the previous homeowner did not disclose it correctly.
Once
or
we get
whatever.
the surveys, that goes with the property forever.
Like getting an electrical inspection or a HVAC inspection saying, yeah, it was passed, but it really wasn't passed.
Right.
That's where we get into
like
he
that.
said, she said stuff that creates lots of meetings, lots of wasted time, efficiency, dollars, blah, blah, blah. Agreed, Lou. So I think you're looking for, should we continue to,
move forward with
forward?
this. Yeah.
Certainly sounds to me like there's some things we want to get buttoned up, so.
Yeah, and we'll flesh that out and really work it over with the planning commission. We'll go out for a public hearing and have whatever number of meetings we need to work through all those details. So when it comes back here, it'll be a recommendation from the planning commission after we had worked through all that stuff. So yeah, if the board's comfortable with that, we'll continue to move forward.
Appears we're comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Yep, thank
Keep
you.
up the good work, awesome.
Larry, Bill,
Appreciate it.
Tom? Yeah, thanks.
At this point, I gotta turn my glasses around here. Let's see. Number 3, Battle Point Improvement Proposal from Lauren, our county engineer, and his team of,
And Tim Edgerton is here from the DNR.
okay, DNR's here too?
Yep.
Yeah.
Welcome to Todd County.
Well, good morning.
Morning.
So, yes, the other presentation. Thank you, Denise. I invited with Mitch, who takes care of the Battle Point Park, and myself, and Tim Edgerton, and I apologize, I forgot your name.
Nikki Hegna.
Nikki. So they're gonna, kind of the history with this is we've been working with the DNR, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years, discussing this potential project. And Tim reached out to me about a month and a half, 2 months ago, that the DNR is interested in moving forward with helping Todd County in the design of a potential improvement to the boat access out of Battle Point Park. So if we can move to the next slide. Obviously, this is Battle Point Park coming off of Fanfare Drive. That road is paved there, right, what Denise is going, and then there's a small paved stretch on the west side of the parking lot, and then the boat ramp there is on the northwest corner of that parking lot. So if we scroll down to the next slide, a few of the options of the improvements that have been talked about to go out to Battle Point Park, there is obviously a new double concrete boat ramp, potential new floating dock, pave the whole parking lot and put some stripings out there so the boaters can have a more defined area where they park, and we probably could get more boats in there on some of the busy weekends, and then also any potential AIS accommodations. Scrolling down to the next slide, this is an example of the boat ramp, I believe out on the south side of the lake in the town of Osakis. It's a very nice big structure, I think, that gets a lot of use. So this is an example of that design. We can scroll down to the next slide. This is an aerial view of it, and this is kind of a side view of it where there's basically some foundations in there that prevent the ice from pushing up the ramp. because that's a continuous effort or maintenance effort for our maintenance staff to go out there and redo that every year because of the large amount of ice that gets pushed up across in that area. Scrolling down, so I guess what the next slide would show is basically why we're here to discuss this is what we'd like to get us some guidance from the board as to which of these proposed improvements is the board interested in. Item number one, what are the potential cost estimates of these improvements and how are we going to pay for them? And then the ultimate, where the DNR can help us with is what's the estimated timeline for the design and the potential construction? And then basically who ultimately manages the construction and administration of this project? Group here, do I have that kind of summarized pretty well? Tim, I'll kind of hand it off to you, or if you want to join in, is there anything I missed, things you want to elaborate on, anything like that? So if we'll pull that mic down.
No, I think that's good, thank you. Good morning. Yeah, as Lauren mentioned, we were approached 2-3 years ago from some various groups here, including the county, about potential of doing something here at Battle Point. And so we had put it on our radar. We are very, so I don't know how much, a few years ago there was Get Out More funding, and statewide, there's been a variety of different public water access sites that have been improved, and there was a list that was put on that to get some of that work done. In our work area, we had 3 or 4 sites already on that list, and we've been working through those. But I bring that up because of DNR's capacity to take on more projects. So while we were approached 2 or 3 years ago, we were limited to jump on or add more projects to that list. But so as we're working through that list, there is support to move forward with some kind of a work here, or at least a concept. With that, as we've met the last couple of times, there's been a variety of different things mentioned, whether it was a double ramp, a poured ramp like we have in the city of Osakis. That was done about 15 years ago. You know, there's opportunities for AIS amenities. The bigger the scope gets, then you also have to consider stormwater management. This site has a capacity of 24 parking spots right now. So anyway, I'm just bringing some of that up of things that we've been thinking about. But as I said, there's support for it. Going way back to 1985, I believe there's a county and a DNR agreement to initially do some of this access. It was like $30,000, $35,000 for the parking lot. So that was, 1985. Going back to 2015, we worked with the county to redo the boat ramp then. It was a relay basically, and also I believe there was a boarding dock that was added there. So there's been interest or support there, and there's continued to support to try to improve this site. Currently on Osakis, the DNR administers the one in the city. We own it and we work with the city to maintain that site. We also have the Miller Bay across the lake, which we've been having some challenges with, and then this one that you guys own, certainly it's a really good site. So I just want to mention that there's definitely support from the DNR to do this. So as we go forward, I think, what we're kind of asking the county or the groups that are involved here is what amenities would you like on this site? With our engineers busy with some of the Get Out More projects, we are still looking at 3 to 4 years before we would have an engineer freed up to do the design work. So what we are suggesting or proposing right now, or asking, I guess, is whether the county would be able to help with some of the design work, get an idea of what, first of all, what amenities you would like to have, and then what the design, what that would look like. And then what the DNR would be able to do is to provide some kind of a phased construction plan and cover the cost of that. And I believe we could also help with perhaps like a cost share of the design part of it, depending on where the county, what you guys' thoughts are. But it would be a phased approach that we would be looking at. So those are just some different things wanted to lay out there for you.
Thank you very much. Opportunity to work together.
So ultimately, what we're looking for is guidance on, I think, are those 4 items I have listed, are those kind of the ones in question?
I believe so.
And then ultimately, if we're gonna do this, I think we need some type of commitment then from the board as far as any potential funding for that, or does the park board have enough funding in their accounts to cover that? So we're looking for guidance on where would you like us to go with this?
I don't think there's enough money. I mean,
So
to do
Mr.
number
Chair,
one.
yeah.
Go ahead.
The park board has started putting $1,000 a mile away for the 7 miles of trail that we had. It should have been started probably 4 years prior to that, but it wasn't. I believe there's 70,000 in that account right now for the trail maintenance. Lauren has helped us out, Public Works has helped us out. We did get the trail redone, 2 years ago?
Yeah, yep.
Okay, so 2 years ago, so there's that 70,000 sitting in there. Well, the contract, and Tim and I have had this discussion, was either with MnDOT or the DNR. And that 20-year contract is up, and it was up 2 years ago. So we're still putting money away, even though the contract is up with MnDOT and the DNR. And my question to Tim was, can we use some of that $70,000 towards this project? And we also have, I believe, another $8,000 in that ramp account because
Ramp dock, yeah.
periodically we have to have Public Works go in there, and then we have to ask the DNR to bring up either new planking or whatever so we can reestablish it and get it back in, so.
I mean, option one is this double ramp, right, like they have at the city?
Are you talking like priority out there?
Well, you had like options of, I think one was a double.
Yeah, I just listed, if we want to go down, Denise, I think those are just the numbered of potential improvements out there.
Yeah.
And we're looking at like, which one of those, keep going up if you want. Oh, up, down, either direction, so.
Right there.
Kind of those aren't really, those are 4 listed improvements that we would like guidance on what's priority. Should we just be focusing on, let's just get the boat ramp done as priority, and then maybe look at the others in the future? Or combine them all, we want everything at one shot? Is this a board decision, a park board decision?
That's a park board.
We're looking for guidance.
So, Mr. Chair, Battle Point is the highest used, according to the AIS documentation that we have, the highest used boat ramp in Todd County. So this thing gets used heavily. Going to a double concrete boat ramp would probably speed the process up. It might put a little bit more work on our AIS individuals, but it would keep everybody moving. So.
I mean, I think that there's a lot of these things like we really would love to have, but it's also kind of like building a house. If we don't have the foundation right, what's it matter? I mean, if you've got a paved parking lot with striping, it looks beautiful, but if I can't launch my boat in a really good fashion and get in and out of the lake, what does it really matter if it's paved parking lot or not?
Right.
I go find a different one, then drive, a couple miles by boat to get where I need to go. Am I wrong here? Or?
No, you're.
And Mr. Chair, with that poured ramp, you're gonna have a lot less maintenance than we have right now, because right now, when people start power loading, it'll blow that stuff right out, and then you got gaps between the planking, and then you gotta put either have Public Works come out and put sand in between the planking, or the last time we started putting 3/4 inch rock to help keep, fill those gaps in. So it's, Public Works has been very, very good working with the park board as far as maintenance on that ramp. And Lauren, you can testify that we've had the hole out there multiple times.
Yeah, from time to time we're out there, but I think to piggyback on that, the key is that it's continued maintenance.
Yep.
And by investing in a potential partnership with the DNR on at least getting this double concrete boat ramp in, if we can scroll back down, Tim, maybe you can elaborate on this. This is a pretty rock solid design and down. So if we go down this, I think those anchors there that you kind of can see really make this a rock solid thing. We won't have that issue anymore.
Right.
And it'll really make for a safer, better, more efficient system out there. And we would love to have that, at least at Public Works, but obviously it's the decision of the board, so.
I mean,
Is that priority number one?
Something like this is like, I mean, this is, you know, this is like building a bridge here. This is a big deal. Because, I mean, we gotta get this, is that all pre-poured and then laid into place? Or
If we want to scroll back
do we actually,
down
like,
or up, whichever
segregate
one
it
for
off
the
and
other
then pour?
drawing. So you kind of can see, and Tim, correct me if I'm wrong, I've never designed, I've never been around, but just looking at the schematics here, this is kind of like a coffer dam, we'd have to dam that out.
Yeah, okay.
So we're in a dry area,
Yeah,
and then pump all that water out and do the foundation work inside a dry area, where we set up those forms, put rebar in, pour it all in place, right?
Right.
It's not recast.
so when this is done, yeah, that's what I thought. We
It's-
basically drain a certain area and then.
It's a little more in depth than just get a couple buddies on the weekend and throw it together,
And
so.
this is like, I mean, is a high water year, a low water year play into this at all?
It would certainly
Be easier,
benefit
obviously,
with a
in a
lower
low-
water year. Yeah, the site that we have at Osaka, so we have roughly 200 public water access sites that we maintain in 8 counties. This is the only one that we have like it. It's very good. It doesn't have any maintenance issues, which obviously is the big benefit, but it's the only one that we have of this nature to a double poured ramp. But yeah, there is dewatering involved. So roughly 15 years ago, I believe this was 68 to 70,000. I'm guessing the cost-wise, it's going to be a lot more than that nowadays. But in terms of efficiency, yeah, it's an excellent ramp, and it's a big lake. When you have access sites, especially on the south and southwest or southeast side of lakes, you get that ice and you get the water and you get the, in combination with the power loading and the blowholes. A bigger ramp like this would generally, speaking, take care of all of that.
If I may, let's assume you as the board decide, let's focus on priority number one or option one. Let's get the boat ramp completed and then worry about the rest later. And you said your engineering team is 4 years out from starting design, give or take, 3 to 4?
Correct. Right.
Okay. So in theory, using that numbers, let's say the potential cost for this would be 200,000, $250,000 in 4 or 5 years? Who knows?
Be more than that.
What's the potential cost share that DNR would offer Todd County? Is it a percentage base, a fixed dollar amount?
So what was, kind of where we are right now for design purposes, the DNR could, I believe right now, offer roughly 50% help cost share with design work if there's an interest in proceeding in the near future. With DNR design staff, they aren't going to be able to help with any design work for 3 to 4 years. So this would be something where either the county would want to or need to design it or farm it out to somebody else and have the design work done that way.
Thank you.
Tim, does the by having the DNR do the engineering and do the design work, then at that point, would that set us up, the county, to apply for like many of the grants that pay for things like improvements to parks, like a boat ramp or paving? Does the engineering and design work that your firm would do, or your agency, does that help us then with setting us up to go out and apply for various DNR recreational grants? I mean, is there a positive to that?
Yeah, so what's been shared with me is there's definitely support from the DNR for this site, for construction, for redoing it, especially with past interest and past collaborative efforts. So with design work, we don't have the capacity to do it right now. But with a design, the DNR is willing to basically provide and help and provide the funding for the full construction of this site. But it wouldn't happen for a couple of years.
Okay.
It's the design part that's gonna have to be decided between now and like I say, a phased approach.
Okay.
And that's where the design, you've got the stormwater, you've got archaeological review, environmental review, decision on AIS, just amenities like that that you would need to decide on what you want at the site.
I always like to throw out really goofy analogies. So my analogy on this one is like, I was really happy that 17 years ago, I asked this one person to dance with me, and she said yes. And then we ended up getting married and having children, a child. So when the opportunity presents itself, you most likely should say yes, or at least dance for sure. So my analogy from my own personal deal here is I would love to see a collaboration with the DNR on it. And I can't speak for the entire park board, but Randy's on it with me. And I think the priority to me makes sense is to don't put the cart before the horse, but get this ramp put in, and then we're still 3-4 years down the road, or maybe less, who knows, whatever. And we have willing partners that are committing to it. So if you can understand that, I guess that's kind of where I am.
So, Mr. Chair, I agree. I know the park board is in favor of moving this forward, getting it done. It shows that they're working to improve the park. It goes back to, and I've had members of the park board wondering about that 70,000 that's sitting there for the trail. Can they, if we need it, can the park board apply this to that project if you need it? Okay, and if we could get that in writing, that the DNR would say, yeah, great, we can release that money for this project, would be great.
Mr. Chair, if I may. Where, when you refer to that 70,000, because right now in the county coffers, we have 143,500. That's a designated park board's fund. So is that 70,000 additional that's sitting out?
That's separate. So when we
Now you
get
have-
our report at the financials for the park board, at the 70,000,
Is what
the
we
trail
as-
and the ramp are separate issues. They're
Right,
separate
because the
items.
trail gets,
Yeah.
you get 1,000, they get
Budgeted
8.
items, yeah.
I was just wondering if that 70,000 that you keep referring to was park board money and the park board money that we retain here.
Allocated to the trail.
Okay.
My only question though, is this 70,000, if that's for the trail in 5 years, 10 years, whenever the trail has to be resurfaced, who's gonna pay for the resurfacing of the
that's-
trail?
Again, that's the question.
So if I may, Commissioner Becker, I think if memory serves me right, Commissioner Newman right, we just paved it in 2 years ago, and we used a portion of the local option sales tax that was listed on our improvement plan. So we can always access that again to do that type of improvement. I don't see a huge need for repaving the thing, probably 18 years, 20 years from now, hopefully. We may need to do some type of small surface improvement, like some crack sealing or maybe a fog seal. Fog seal will run us probably like 20 grand or so, 25,000 to do that. Not a full $500,000 like we just spent on it. The crack filling, the normal maintenance, routine maintenance of the trail, we handle that within Public Works through our authorized work account, something that we actually budget in the normal process. So big long-term improvements, I don't think we're really looking at something, at least minimally, probably 15 years out.
Okay, well, we have a world-class fishery, one of the greatest resources in our area. We have partners that are willing to help us out. We've got a time frame. We got to get cost estimates and stuff. I would say we should, I mean, it's only work session, but I'd love to see this, number one, you know, the double ramp be looked at.
So you'd like us to bring a resolution, a board action saying what?
That we want to partner with DNR, get this double ramp in.
Yep.
To
That's
look
my-
at having the DNR design it in their timeframe,
Yeah, to
according to the
repeat,
DNR timeframe.
right, because right now, I've been told that our design staff is busy for 3 to 4 years. If they're able to do this in 4 years, I can't promise that, but what the message, what they were suggesting is if the county is interested to design it now, then the DNR could provide construction support down the road.
Do you think could be, the DNR would receive in favor a resolution from the board saying that we're committing as the board to this double ramp design, we're committing to waiting for the 4 years design, and then that we would, at that point in time of construction, be willing to commit the 50% or so of the construction dollars to match with the DNR for the
100%
construction?
Construction.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Said 100% of
Yeah.
construction.
100%.
But 50% design.
I think what's getting missed here, though, in my opinion, is they're looking, because you're looking at 3-4 years out designing it, that obviously would put us further out.
Right.
I think as a county, if we're serious about doing this, we should be looking into potentially getting our professional services done, outsourcing it by a professional services contractor now, seeing what that number is, right? What that, first we got to get an estimate cost of that, seeing what that number is, and then seeing if we can afford to do that, then coming back to the DNR and say, okay, we have our design done, and going from there. I think that's where we're really,
and at the
if
end
we're
of the
looking to
day-
do this project in the next 3 to 4 years, or in the next couple of years, that's what we'll be looking at. Because if we wait for the design phase in 3 to 4 years, that's gonna push us 5, 6, 7 years out before we actually do this project, if that makes sense.
Cost of the project in a year or two versus 7 years from now is gonna be less, so the actual money that they'd have to commit would be
Exactly.
less, because we know material costs, labor costs, all
And
that cost is gonna
they
go up
don't
no
know
matter
where
what.
their funding is gonna be at in 5 years, and neither do
That's kind of
really
where I am
us,
too.
yeah.
We look at whoever the professional services that.
So my
engineers that-
recommendation, the board, I guess, I mean, this is what I would say we should do, is get a hold of whoever they would recommend, who has designed, or if they know of anybody in the past, we can reach out to our professional contractors. And we can at least get a number of what it would cost to design it, and then bring that back to the board is really probably where our best step would be, in my opinion. The board obviously can do what they like, but I mean, I don't think it's gonna hurt anything to see that number.
Mr. Chair, if I may, this may be an off-the-wall question, but if the DNR knew we had processes in place, would we be able to apply for these each year and then just allocate the money in a restricted fund that we're doing this project? Or do we have to wait the 4 years out to apply for the money?
I'm sorry, as far as like applying, you mean?
Yeah,
funds?
applying
That's
for
what
the
you're
grant,
asking?
yeah. Can you do it every year just to see if we could get the money? Since we've already made the initiative to do the process? Like I said, this is an off-the-wall question. I'm just wondering if the funding would be available each year. And knowing that we would maybe not get it, but can we apply each year?
Right, so Right now, I think the best way to answer that is we are locked up with previous projects we've committed to, and that's gonna take 2 to 3 years, 4 years to get through that. But we are being, the message is that they are open to taking on some additional projects now. They're 3 to 4 years out or something like that. The application per se, right now there just isn't any more money to give out because of our previous commitments. So I don't know if that answers your question.
I was just wondering, funds that's sitting that.
Okay, if I can have clarification now. You said that you would pay for 50% of the design if the county went ahead and did the designing ahead of time. And then the DNR would pay for 100% of the ramp at the time of construction? Did I hear you correct?
That's my understanding, correct.
Okay,
Mitch, I mean,
yeah.
I'm in agreement with what you're saying. Find professional services.
I think we don't wait until they change their policy on this.
Oh,
You know,
absolutely.
and decide that, oh, we're not gonna pay for the ramp anymore.
Let's dance, let's go.
Because the 100% in the payment world, we're not talking engineering, but the 100% of the project cost is available now, not 3 years from now. I mean, it could be, but we know that it's available now, correct?
We could, yeah, it'll be added to our
Get the
schedule.
commitment, if it gets done in
Yes.
2 years or 3 years, gets done
Yep.
in 2 or 3 years.
We-
Nothing's gonna get done in the next year, guys.
Correct. But at least with the professional services, if we get that
There you
portion of
go.
it done, we can attempt to be at least at that point.
There's a lot of guys, they wanna do some blueprints, make some blueprints.
Yep.
So, Mr. Chair, but
we
you
don't
already
know
got
that-
a-
oh,
You
sorry.
already got a design with the Osakis ramp, similar, it's gonna be similar to that. We could hire WSN.
I've reached out to WSN and they don't really have the expertise in something like this. I can recheck with them to see if they've
Yeah, he's on the board.
gotten an engineer, but I have reached out to other firms.
Yep.
Bolton and Mank, SEH, that potentially has some expertise, have done one of these in the past. I can reach back out and maybe you have a name of another firm that you'd recommend? And then we could potentially, get some numbers and bring those back for the board for consideration in the next month or two.
Park board chairs here, he wants to mention something.
I do have a number for you, Lauren. The
Perfect.
people that looked at it 2 years ago,
Okay,
and I'll give you that number.
Okay.
okay.
It might have been WSN, I don't remember right now.
We would actually want to revisit that to,
Yeah.
but I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, you guys got direction then? You feel like you know where to go?
Yeah, so we're coming back to here with the project professional services number.
Yes.
Yep. For basically item one.
Item one only.
And Tim, we don't have to do any kind of applying for any kind of a grant application to access this 100% construction cost by the DNR. You guys are coming to us to say we have the funds for you.
Correct, yep.
Okay.
And if there is a interest in having some kind of a joint powers agreement or something like that, we can certainly discuss that, whether that's, well, we'll need one if we do the design work. If there's interest in doing a 50-50 match, we'll need some kind of a tool, joint powers tool. But if there's additional desire for other proof of support for construction, we can certainly work with you on that. And again, I want to mention one other thing as far as the process of going through a design. I mean, obviously, we're also going to be interested in looking at what that cost is. I mean, we can't, an open book. I mean, yes, we are very interested in the site and we understand the value of this site to Osakis, but we also need to know what that cost is going to be.
Perfect. We will share that with you 100%. Any other discussion? Great. Thank you both for attending, everybody that's involved
all,
there.
yeah.
I'm very thankful for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Good to see you.
Yep. Do appreciate it.
Thanks, Lou. Take care of yourself.
Yep.
And your family.
Stay for that.
Fuck yeah. And Lou's gotta go.
100%.
They're taking off to Florida, aren't they?
Mayor left at his mom to St. Cloud last night. I don't know what's going on, but something's going on.
His mom?
Yeah.
She was in, Carlson, wasn't
Where?
in Bronco, when we came upstairs in the back. Oh, no,
I don't know what
had
it
not
is.
heard that.
He's gotta go.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, thank you so much. We're on agenda item 3 maybe now? Three. 3, discussion, well, it was 4, now it's 3. Discussion of paving top-ranked county roads. And again, our county engineer is here to lead the discussion.
All right, Mr. Noskaliv, or?
Yeah, he's got a family emergency, so.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna, first of all, thanks Denise for helping me with the presentation. You can scroll through for me, up or down. So our first kind of slide here is basically a recap of what we talked about 2 months ago. If we want to scroll down to that next slide. So basically on December 2nd, 2025, at the work session, we talked about discussions on paving County Road 81. At that point in time, I rewatched the presentation a couple times to make sure I got it correct. And I basically summarized that in the highlighted part in the bottom there, that the board wanted me to look at put together a plan to pave the top 6 ranked county road projects on our list in the next 5 years, with various funding options that would include a local levy, local option sales tax, future countywide debt payments, and potential any use of cash reserves. But that plan should focus and have a plan that we wouldn't require any increasing of the local levy, because I think we wanted to stay away from that funding source. Did I have that correct? Okay. So scrolling down to the next one, this was that list, and we drew a line, so to speak. And we drew that line right below item or project number 6, which was County Road 81. So we can see that bright red line there. Scrolling down, we have those top 6 projects. Looking at the current 5-year plan, we looked at that plan and determined that 3 of those projects are already listed in that 5-year plan. With the first one on County Road 107, I think that's in 2028. Scrolling down to the next one, in 2029, we had County Road 88, and in 2030, we had County Road, let me look, I can't see that.
88?
County Road 80, excuse me, 2029 was County Road 95 down in Commissioner Newman's district, and then 88 in 2030. So we've already got plans in our 5-year plan to accomplish at least half of the work that we wanted to accomplish in the next 5 years. Using the local option sales tax, using current costs, current projections for revenue, this is what our balance would, is there a way we can scroll that out? Go to the negative side. Go like, keep going. No? Yeah? A little bit farther. Perfect. All right. So we can see that at the end of that 2034, we potentially have somewhat of a balance left, not a lot, but some balance left in the local option sales tax. So let's look at the remaining 3 roads that we have on that list. We've funded 1 through 3. Let's look at 4, 5, and 6. Looking at the first one, County Road 81. Using today's estimated costs and a quick down and dirty estimate or design of what that project would look like. Now remember, this is a preliminary design. We haven't really dug into the actual design, so we're kind of looking at a 30,000-foot view of what that project would be. Using those numbers, calculating the potential cost, we figure out in 2030, we'd have a cost of right around $1.27 million. So we really want to budget somewhere between $1.2 to $1.3 million to accomplish that project. Scrolling down to the next project, we're looking at County Road 84. Using the same mentality, same process, we'd see that that project would be roughly about just shy of $2.4 million to get a pavement surface on that road. Scrolling down the next one, County Road 99. In 2030, we'd have a cost of right around, I think it was $800,000 to $850,000. So those 3 projects, if we want to put them into our 5-year plan, We looked at what are we doing in the next 5 years and where can we put them in our 5-year plan to best utilize our dollars. We want to do those projects in years that were in that general geographic area. So the paving company come in and do a large amount of work in one shot instead of moving their plant around, which costs them and us ultimately money. So in 2030, if we look at the orange, we had figured that that'd be the best year to accomplish County Road 81 because we have other paving projects in that general area. I think if we scroll down a little bit farther, in 2028, we could accomplish County Road 84. I think that's in the pink. And then ultimately down the next slide down, Denise, we'd be looking in 2029, County Road 99. That's kind of the areas in yellow. So we could accomplish those 3 roads, add them to a 5-year plan, add them to those contracts and save a good amount of dollars. And we'd accomplish that goal of paving all those roads in the 5-year period. Great. So now we've defined the work, we've defined when we can accomplish it. The $1 million question is, how do we come up with $1 million to fund these projects? The money. So let's look at County Road 81. We're going to look at each project individually. How would we fund 81 if we're going to do it in 2030? One of the issues we looked at is that the county's going to be done with their debt payments, not this year, but the following year. And these are some slides, I can't remember where I got them from. I think they're from your presentation, Denise. So with that, I think we have a $365,000 payment. Going right this year, it's $398,000. Next year, it would be $365,000. So we go to the next slide. You can see that debt payment in that second column. So if we continued with that debt payment, but we moved it over to a savings account for County Road 81, in about 4 years' time frame, we basically build up enough funds to fund the entirety of that project and pave it in somewhere between 2030 or 2031. If we paved it in 2030, you know, we could borrow a little bit of money from Public Works or general fund and then pay ourselves back, so to speak, in a 2-year or a 1-year time frame. So I think if we wanted to do 81, I think this is a good funding source to accomplish that. And the key factors, if we did this, there'd be no increase to the local levy because we're already making that debt payment and it's already budgeted in our general fund. Going on to the next slide, County Road 99, I think that's a smaller dollar value. It's a smaller road. I think we could potentially use our local option sales tax to fund that. That's what it currently looks at right now, if we project it out. If we pave that road in 2029, we scroll down to the next slide, that's what we'd have left. And we'd be more nearing that magical line of $750,000, which is just a threshold minimum we want to keep in that account, just in case we need some additional money. Could we go a little lower? Absolutely. But we want to keep some money in there in case we have a project that comes up. So would it draw us down to zero? Nope. Could we accomplish it? Absolutely. The next slide is where we get a little more complicated, and that's County Road 84. And the reason it gets a little more complicated because it's a longer road, obviously a bigger dollar value. County Road 84, looking years in the future, would be right around the $2.2 to $2.4 million. So how would we accomplish that? We'd want to accomplish that with the use of multiple funding sources. And I figured that if we use these multiple funding sources, we could use a theoretical in 2028 or whatever year that was, we could use about $400,000 of the local option sales tax. We could use $1.3 million from the general fund and $500,000 from the road and bridge fund. Just those reserves. And I took the slides from, I think it's from the Clifton Larson audit report to show that each of those funds have an adequate amount that we could use those general reserve funds to fund those projects. Now that's a big dollar value. We're drawing our cash down. If we had the $1.3 million and the $500,000 from Public Works, we're really drawing that dollar value down by $1.9 million. Do we as the county want to accomplish that? That's for you as the board to decide. But I found another solution that we could consider that would lessen that impact to our reserves. Going down, 84 goes from US 71 all the way west out to County Road 3. In our opinion, we think that we could split that up and do it in two separate projects. We don't have to do the whole thing all in one shot. It would be nice, but it's a large dollar value. So if we broke that up into two separate projects, the part in the green from 3 to 11 is right around $1.3 million. The part from 11 to 71 is just shy of $1 million. A lot easier to accomplish than $2.5 million. Taking that into consideration, if we want to scroll down to the next slide, I think we could do the eastern half, which I think sees more traffic than the west half just because of the proximity to the other towns. And we could do option 2, which I have listed as preferred, the one in the blue, and that we would still use that $400,000 in local option sales tax, but we'd lessen the impact from the general fund reserve to $400,000 instead of, I think, $1.3 million. And then the road and bridge fund, we'd go down to $160,000 of use of cash reserves. And then we could accomplish at least a portion of paving that project. The remainder of the road would still be listed in our future plans, and we'd potentially do that when the money becomes available. So we've listed the 3 projects, we've listed 3 potential funding sources to accomplish that. Scrolling down to the next slide, so how do we move forward? I put together a theoretical, a potential resolution that the board could consider to do this. I kind of put it all up there, but that's a little too small, at least for my eyes to see. So if we want to go to the next slide, I kind of summarized it in the therefore be it resolved at the end of the resolution. So the resolve would be that County Road 84 would be paved from 11 to 71, that shortened segment, that east end, in 2028, using those percentages of the project cost, 41.67% from the local option sales tax, 41.67% from the general fund, and then the remaining 16.767% from the road and bridge reserve funds. County Road 99 would be accomplished in 2029, and we'd use 100% of that cost from the local option sales tax to deliver that project. And then in 2030, we'd pave 81, and we'd use some type of funding source using that debt payment and move that fund and allocate those funds over to a potential savings account for 81. And whenever that comes up to be, we have enough money, we'd pave that project. Potentially, we could do that in 2030. So if the board wants to move forward, I think we've accomplished what we set out to do, is pave the top 6 roads. We've done it in a 5-year time frame, and we've done as much as we can without the additional impact to the local levy. Go ahead. If we don't want to go that, or if you as the board doesn't want to move that route, we still have 2 other options. We can go out and bond, which potentially could raise the levy because we'd have to pay for those bonding fees. Or we could wait and kind of have what we have right now, is wait till the local option sales tax gets enough money in those accounts to fund those projects entirety. Thoughts, questions, considerations, things I did wrong, improvements?
Question, can you go back down, or, yeah, there, that slide. This talks about County Road 99 and the funding source. And for fiscal year 29, funding sources, about a savings account. Where does this money get parked right now? Is it in an?
The local option sales tax?
Yeah.
That comes in.
Where does it get put in? Is it in a deposit account? Is it in a savings account?
It goes to the road and bridge. He receives the funds and he tracks
Yep.
it. We double track them as the checks and balance, but it comes from the state. She gives us a monthly report of what, when I say she, from the state of Minnesota, sends us a monthly report of what we earn in sales tax.
If I had to go grab $1 out of that account right now, a physical dollar, where would I grab that dollar from? From you?
We go together.
Her office.
Yeah.
Her office under Fund 3, which would be Road and Bridge.
Okay.
But they make the request from him, and then he goes to the board.
Yep. So ever since we've had this tax, which I think was in 2014, We have a detailed spreadsheet of every single revenue that we've had every month and every single payment and expenditure to a project. Every single money that's gone out of there has gone to a specific project listed and approved by the county board.
If I may, you have those two options, but isn't there really three because you would just stay with your regular plan and nixing all of this?
There's what?
You had on here that you had two other option plans, but isn't there truthfully that you could stay with what we currently have planned, or you have
Yep,
planned?
item 3.
Okay, perfect.
So, just spitfiring here, because this is obviously this work session. It sounds like it's gets everything in place. I would say that there is not more than a handful of people in this county that want to see us increase the levy in any form or fashion after last year with the school levies and everybody's property taxes. I can't imagine there's more than, I can't imagine anybody would want that. In the same vein, we have this $365,000 payment that everybody's worked really hard to get rid of, and now we're saying it's not really going away, it's just gonna be moved to a different, it's funding of the roads, so I'm just, usually when you retire a debt, it's like, yay! But we're not really, we are retiring that debt, yes, literally, but we're still gonna budget for it somewhere else, so that doesn't mean the levy comes down either, so. I'm just thinking these through, making these statements. But as far as, aggregating things and, like, let's put these, because they're this year, we're gonna be in that area, I love that idea, those are good thoughts. Anybody else?
County Road 81, it's been 12 years that they've been asking to have something done with County Road 81, and yet it would take at least another 6 years for them to have anything done with 81. And I think at the last, was a spring meeting when you came up and you said they went out and got petitions, and they had the commissioner sign, and they did all this work, that it would move up, and it did move up to even be included in the 5-year plan. I look at this as road maintenance, and I think road conditions are very important to the people of Todd County. But we passed, not that long ago, that we took money out of maintenance and spent it for equipment, and that's what bothers me. Is if there's money that's supposed to be used for tarring and maintenance, it's gotta be kept for tarring and maintenance and not for equipment and not for buildings. The last 12 years since I've sat on this board, the new equipment we've bought. From skidsters to tractors and we need to replace equipment. I've been a farmer for many years. I understand the replacement of equipment. But I also understand that we have to maintain our roads, and money has to go into road maintenance also. And, these roads were up for tar, 15, 18 years ago already. They were built up, they were gravelled, they were ready to be tarred, never got to that point. We spent money on calcium chloride on roads. That's just gone now, and now it's getting so high priced that we can't hardly afford it. So I think maybe it's looking at the overall budget, equipment versus maintenance. I guess that's where I'm looking at right now. And the other thing is, boy, I don't want to have to run another 4 years to see this road tarred.
Anybody else? Randy, anything?
Well, I can say the same thing with County Road 95. That was built up a year before I ran. And the constituents down there said it was gonna be tarred the following year, which it never was. So, you look 1 year later, 22 years later, and it's still not tarred, it's, yeah. So it's all based on the funding. You gotta have the funding to do it.
Yeah, and I think, and we've all been through the budgeting process. Tim and Bob have been through it this last year and going into this year, and we all know how difficult of a process that is, you know. But it's something we have to look forward to move on to also.
Yeah, I'm not ready to make no decision today on this, just for the fact that Lauren did exactly what we asked him to do, take those roads,
Absolutely.
come back with that plan. I'm not surprised. Like, it's very detailed, as you've thought of a lot of angles, so I appreciate that. But yeah, like Bob said, it's nice to pay a debt down, and I go, this year, it was so nice not tapping into the general fund, put money on top of, to get our levy low. Nice just to be able to, I personally would love to take that payment that's allocated and take that right off the top and give it right back to the taxpayers and not have them, they can see that directly, but and I get it, it's important to maintain the roads and tar them, but, I don't know.
Does any of this continue, Lauren, upon any federal dollars that we get? Not really. This is outside of any federal funding we get.
Yes, there's no federal consideration on
So
that.
we don't have to go, oh, Minnesota might get cut off or something because of whatever.
No, projects like this, the federal funding sources that we go usually only qualify for like a major collector. It's a hierarchy of functional class of roads, kind of technical road jargon, so to speak. These roads aren't listed as major collectors. I think they're more on the local side, so they really wouldn't qualify for us to even apply for federal money. I brought that in the past, like 51. We've gotten that one. I think we just applied for 24. We've gotten a lot of federal projects over the years, and usually they're focused on state aid highways, not county roads.
This is, I don't know why I'm even thinking about this, but I'm just gonna ask the question. Like sometimes in businesses, they go, well, if you give me an agreement in 2 years from now that you're gonna do this project, I will lock in a labor or material rate for you. Do any of our suppliers offer anything that locks things in, even if it's that long of a time frame?
No. Reason being is one of the most volatile pieces of road construction is the price of oil.
Material?
Not only for the production of asphalt, the AC, the asphalt cement, but also every truck that's driving down the road uses diesel or gas. And when they bid it, they have a price, they lock it in with their supplier, but it's only good for 30 days. So.
Really, 30
yeah,
days, wow.
Kind of by statute, we're required to act on a bid within 30 days. So we can extend it, it's allowed up to 60, but that's about as far as they'd ever want to push it out, so.
Yeah. And the other thing is, I know last year our bids came in lower than was projected, and I would think this year should be a lower bid year for asphalt also because of price of fuel. We've seen that before in past years.
I believe I'm hoping you're correct. I think you're correct. Knock on wood. I really hope so.
From what we've seen in the past.
Looking at some of the asphalt cement indexes, kind of a pricing system of how we track potential prices. Our numbers are at or slightly below what they were last year. So we're hoping, barring any major issues in the next month, we'd see a very similar cost to last year.
Be interested to see, that's true, I would think so too. Then you have to consider.
We've seen this before.
Right, then you have to consider the fact that many employers are gonna carry an extra person or two, because if somebody goes out for 20 weeks, what are they gonna do during construction season?
Yeah.
I gotta have 2 extra staff members, 2 extra CDL guys at $50 an hour, because if one goes out and I can't get this work done, I only got a short season in Minnesota to actually do the work.
Lauren, when I was looking at the map, the state map, it listed 81 going from 21 all the way to 24. And where 74 connects?
It goes to,
State
it goes
map
to
as
74.
81.
It goes to 74. That might be a little misleading if we want to look at that.
Yeah, but on the state, it showed 81 all the way to 24.
I don't know about the state road. I don't know.
No,
about that map.
it, just on the state map, because I was
We don't-
looking at it.
We don't have control of the state, but this truly is where it is. It starts on 21 just south of that S curve.
Yep,
And then goes up about a mile, then straight north,
okay,
2.5 miles to the intersection of 74.
right.
Which is kind of that four corners where 74 goes north, about a half mile, and then east,
Okay.
past your place, about 3 miles.
Okay, Lauren, on where 81 meets 74 to the garage, how far is that? I mean, to me, the
mile.
mileage you would save by going on 81 to the north shop is tremendous than going all the way around either to 74, or a lot of times they go all the way to 24 and then come back to the north shop. How much mileage is there difference there? A lot.
Yep.
So I mean, the county would be, it would be a savings for the county also.
Sure.
Well, we got to get,
Yeah,
would you be willing to really reach out to, not today, or maybe we can, because Lou's going to have to see this too, but today's not the day to reach out and schedule a date with him. Maybe-
Understood.
Yeah. You want another one? Do you want another session, or do you want to, because I mean, I think the work you've done is amazing. I think it's great. I really do. I'm not blowing, I think you did a great job.
Thank you.
And it really is, maybe there's some possibilities here. I'm just bringing up the pros and the cons.
absolutely.
And
That's what we have.
so Lou might have some
What our budget looks like.
pros and cons too, so.
Yeah.
I would think it's a really, really great start. Let's see what, if you want some direction, did we need another work session with Lou, or do you want Lou to come to see you, or?
This year's is already planned, correct, Lauren?
It's out for bid.
It's out for bid already. So to have another work session would make no difference on what's going on today or this year.
The only thing is we're gonna start pushing these guys for budgets to get their stuff together quick, so. I mean, we just gotta give you direction, so.
We would like direction, so.
And Mr. Chair, if I may ask, did you look at any of your capital improvement for that building? I get that we haven't built, and I know we would like to keep some savings, but we have 1.8 million in there, and it's just sitting. So I'm just saying, it's sitting for a future project. Did you use that in consideration? And I know that it's restricted by a resolution, but that always could be amended, and the board can choose what they want to do with that money. I'm just asking if that was part of this.
I did look at that, and we offered that as a potential funding source at the last one, and I didn't get a really positive response from that, so.
Okay.
But
Well, I think that.
that's a control of the board,
Right.
and if they choose to, by resolution, move that, that's what we would do.
Okay, I personally think we should give another round of discussion with Lou here. Just
That's
so
fine.
everything's on the record, if you can, I know you want it sooner than later.
Would you like me to bring this back at a future work session?
Yeah, I think so. Either that, or we have to get the information to Lou.
Okay.
Bring it back.
I'll bring this back.
Bring it back.
I'll bring this exact presentation back.
But here's what expected from the commissioners, is you have to give Lauren, give him something that he needs to either change, improve, whatever you want to do. Don't just, I'm not bringing you back just to have the same rehash. Get Lou involved and call 4 or 5 commissioners, give him whatever, whether it's in writing, make sure he knows where he's got to go. And then we'll come up with a finality for you.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Lauren.
And agenda item 4, previously number 5.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hopefully this one isn't as hard.
Director, come on. Okay.
So, bringing in front of you this morning as the tail end of your morning on the administrative assistant 2 to administrative assistant 2/bilingual. This is a job description that does already exist, so there's no need to have it reclassified and taken to Gallagher to be a comp study done on it. So it's already existing within Health and Human Services. We had a promotion from this administrative assistant to an eligibility worker, which led this position to be open. So based on that, you know, when we have an opening in the unit, we look at what really our need is for the department and for the unit that it serves under with Stephen. So this person that was like I said, in the position was promoted. It's open currently, but really this position would be best fit to serve the department and the people that they serve to be bilingual. Yeah, so that's why we're bringing it back as a request, a lateral move to bilingual, just to be able to do the work that would be best fit for this individual. So we started at personnel. Personnel recommended we come to work session as we do with that process, and then if approved, today we'll bring it to board for a vote.
Wonderful, thank you. Commissioners, any discussion, please? Any discussion, please?
Yeah. Administrative assistant 2, do we have a bilingual right now, or do we not?
We have one person or one position that is an administrative 2 bilingual in Catherine's unit.
Okay.
We're asking to put this bilingual position from administrative assistant to bilingual in Stephen's unit. So it's an existing open position, administrative assistant 2. It's gonna be a change in the job description by adding that bilingual component only.
But they're in 2 different departments.
No, well.
Catherine's
got somebody that's bilingual already in this
Okay.
position. We have an open administrative assistant position under Stephen. We're asking to change that position to bilingual. So no cost change, no.
There was no, okay.
Right.
I'm fine with it. I mean,
Barb says you said you're fine with it, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Randy?
I'm good with
Yeah.
same thing.
We're fine with it.
Okay, so we'll bring it back to board to request to do that.
Thank you for
All right.
jumping in and helping out. Great, thank you.
Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and things move along. Previously number 1 on our schedule, now number 5. Are we ready?
Yes.
Okay.
About 5 minutes out, but I told her not to race to get here, so.
Yeah, there's already been a lot of.
So, any attachments or anything? No, we don't. No. So what we're here to discuss is how we set wages for our temporary positions, because we're getting ready to post for summer temp help. And one of the dilemmas we always have is what we are going to pay those positions. Sometimes we have people that come back who have been here before. Sometimes we're hiring brand new. And in the past, it's been presented to you that we have a formula. Just as a reminder, basically the formula is that temporary seasonal employees who come back will receive $1 per hour pay increase, not to exceed the lowest wage paid to a union employee in the department. This gets very confusing because our HR department has to compute the COLA and determine what the lowest wage being paid in the county is. And so in order to simplify, we reached out to other counties to find out how do they do it so that we could get a much simpler process. And what we found was that other counties, what they do is they pay their temporary workers the first step of the lowest grade in the county. And they always sit on that step so that as COLAs are applied each year, you see that number go up by COLA, but you always stay with that number, and it's a set amount. So in other words, right now, the grade or the level is level 3. That's the lowest that we pay in Todd County, okay, is grade 3. And so step A for grade 3 is $20.93. In a year, that'll just up with a COLA, so that'll increase. And we would next summer pay that same first step, level 3. And so the progression always goes up with a COLA, but we continue to always pay at 3A. 3A is where we sit, 3A. And so it's how the other counties do it. We kind of like to follow that suit to make it simpler. And again, I know that Nellie's on her way. She probably could explain it simpler. I think she did send the commissioners just an overview. And what she stated is that the other thing that complicates it is that we have contract bargaining units where we have to really watch the wording that states, making sure that we are not paying above our lowest paid employee under contract. So that makes it tricky as well. Also, when we post temporary help for the summer, we are supposed to post the wage, but we can't post the wage if we don't know if there's somebody returning. So let's say there's a summer worker from a year ago who has indicated that they want to come back and work for Public Works, let's say. Well, we're not sure then, we're going to need to give that person $1 an hour increase based on the current way that we're doing things. So it makes it very tricky. By setting a standard wage that we're always going to pay, we could post that. And we would always continue to keep ourselves within the contract, within the requirements, and it would be easier to budget for. Thank you, Lisa. That's the other thing. I think she called that out as well, the budgeting. So we'd really like to go to a change for that. Level 3, step A on the grades. And that's what we'd like to pay our temporary seasonal help as a standard wage. Again, similar to the way other counties are doing it.
Mr. Chair, Jackie, how many people do we have in summer help? How many people are we talking?
Oh, wow. I knew you were going to ask me something.
Isn't this really more about EAP?
So
But I know
It
like,
will eventually, it will have effect on EAP for sure. I think for the Public Works Department, we have 3 out working there.
it's Sheriff's Department,
Pardon me?
the Sheriff's Department, we always have some come back.
Somebody that comes
Water.
back for water, seasonal water patrol. And I think there's 2 possibly there.
Solid waste maybe?
Solid waste, I believe they have 3.
It's under 10 people.
Yes, yes. So it's not going to change a lot of the cost overall for us. If anything, it's going to stay fairly similar to what we put out for summer cost for help. And we're not increasing the number of employees we're going to hire for summer. We're not asking that. We're just asking for a standard way of paying them and posting.
What was the wage last year? I mean, it varied all over the place. I know
Well, that, if I may, that kept changing because they had a set.
Well, Lauren kept having the same people coming back.
I was just going to say that there was a set dollar amount, and
Yep.
then there were some departments that brought the same people back
Yep.
and felt they should give them a higher wage for
Yes.
coming back. But then that ran into some issues because the new people that were coming were different than the people had been here a year. And then, like you said, there was no posting. Now, truthfully, I think there should be a posting each year. They shouldn't just, I mean, I get that their reasoning at that point in time when we questioned it was, well, they already know the work, so it's easy for us to bring that back. But I don't know if legally we should have not been posting. I'm not an HR person, but they should be reposting.
No, we do legally. But again, we're not able to put wage down because of that, not knowing who's coming back, who is, who's new. So it makes it very tricky too, to know how much to budget, because we don't have a standard rate.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say.
I don't get the budget deal, to be honest with you. I really don't. Because you know why? You're talking less than 10 people. You're not talking about $75 an hour employees. Okay, so if it's a 50-cent difference, I mean, I don't think anybody's budget is dead nuts on, all right? We know that.
No.
Everybody's got something in the bottom drawer they pull out to give us that, you know what, the commissioners wanted something more, or they have, that's the way it is. So the budget thing to me, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. You can all, I'm cool if you're telling me I'm wrong. I don't think it holds any water here. We're talking about 50 cents to $1 per person, big whoop. I'm not telling that from, every dollar is important, taxpayers, every dollar is important, I understand. But in the scheme of things, it's not it doesn't hold water here.
I'm just giving you support reasonings so that you understand why we would really like to move to this.
It's more of an
change.
accounting issue.
It is, and it's cleaner, and it makes it standard. That it's always going to be step A on that level 3. That's going to be your wage.
So the 2 people that Lauren are bringing back from last year, because he came to personnel and said, we want these 2 back. So what do they get paid this year versus, so they're getting more than last year?
Yes, I believe Nellie ran the numbers, and at 2093, that would be an increase for them. So it still it's still giving them what we would have done anyway, but it actually, again, is standard across the board, so.
So, Mr. Chair, Jackie, you got to write down, I know it's solid waste, public works, I know the sheriff, I think, has them. Is there any more departments than that?
Go ahead.
Energy assistants, we're wondering, where do they fall in this? Is that
Oh, energy assistant?
or not?
Yeah.
Because we have 3
Yes.
seasonal.
Right, there's the terminology, it's temporary, and
Temporary
the,
and seasonal are the same.
Because yours don't necessarily get a $1 increase when they come back, or if they come back. But they don't see that.
So this is also part of why this discussion is being had, because right now our energy assistant people have not had an increase in their wage. They've been held at the same wage. If we were to move to something like this, they would receive a cost of living increase, because they would follow the same process of being on that step A, level 3.
So it would include that, yes.
We're trying to address that as well.
But
are our current seasonal EAP workers at 3A now?
Here comes Nellie, so I think she'll be able to add light to this conversation, as she has been most involved with the process. And there she is. As you can tell, I may have been trying to bide my time. Thank you, Nellie. Say, take a breath. So, I don't know if I articulated it very well, and I think you could articulate it much better. We're just getting to talking about the EAP folks as well.
Yeah, so our summer workers are temp workers, and our EAP workers are also temp workers, which we currently have 2 different wages for. And just to clear up, I know one of the conversations before, we do post every year for our summer positions, whether we hire a returner or not. However, the wage that's posted, the people, depending on who we hire, may not be the wage they're actually getting paid, which is an issue because we're supposed to be posting either a wage or a wage range.
Well, then put a range in.
If we did it this way, you could put it in.
$1 to whatever. That's what you're getting paid. And then they fall within, the people that were rehired from last year are gonna fall within that range, and we're good to go. obviously somebody who hasn't been with Lauren for a year, who doesn't know the policies, ins and outs, there's less training, there's less, they should be able to walk in the job and day one and know where the brooms are, right? And the jackhammers and that stuff.
But sometimes it opens it up for more people to take advantage of these summer positions. Instead of, I look at this more as an interim, if you like the work, if you whatever, it opens up, to me, it opens up for college kids, whatever. That's what I kind of look at. And maybe by doing it this way, we give more of an opportunity for more kids to get in there.
And then it also goes back to, so you got two.
But isn't Lauren gonna hire the person that's been there the year before?
Well, if he does,
I mean,
then the guy would be okay with the wage he's taking, or whoever, the person.
You still get the increase, still get the
So-
COLA.
He still gets the COLA increase either way.
So if you look like our summer temps, the ones who are working strictly for the summer, if they return, they're getting $1 increase. Well, we have temp EAP workers who
don't get it,
come back every year for the next EAP season and don't get an increase. So we were kind of trying to look at, is there a way to make our temp workers on the same
equal
standard?
Doesn't necessarily have to be the same pay, but the same process, so that all of our temp workers essentially are getting equal treatment. We're not picking, oh, this temp worker is getting this, but this temp worker is getting that.
I've been part of discussions with the EAP side of it. We talked about hours worked and potentially would we hire another person? Because
is there a 67-day timeline also? We didn't talk about that.
Yes, to all temp workers, period, across the board, it's 67 days, or it's like 100 something if they're under 23 and a college student or something like
at the end of the day, the department managers or division manager, or you have a lot of divisions, sorry, whatever division, should be monitoring their employee work hours. And if they're above them and they've been triggering whatever that triggers, make the decision to don't come in for the day or hire whatever the decision is. There's probably an administrative side that I'm not grasping from your standpoint, but from the county standpoint.
Yeah, there's
And the
67 days.
directors, manage your people. Keep them within the hours that is prescribed for a temp, seasonal, whatever words we're using here, and go about it. Please, give me more so I'm not, I thought the discussion was gonna be centered around adding a seasonal EAP employee.
Oh, okay. We're coming to you to hopefully standardize the wage paid to seasonal.
I don't think they're the same.
So what we gotta do is list the damn departments, because I don't have the information in front of me.
So,
okay? How many?
2 are out at Public Works, 3 are out in the sheriff's office. Mike out at Solid Waste has had at max 2.
Right.
Some of them have also taken on Sourcewell funding to offset the wages. So say we pay them $20 an hour, some have chose to use Sourcewell's $15 an hour internship, so then truly it's only costing the county $15 or $5. The difference in.
Okay, I guess mine is, what, if I'm a first-time temp worker, what's my salary, starting salary? $19.
Isn't it?
No.
No.
Because you gotta figure out the COLA for each year.
Okay, I'm brand new, I'm walking in the door, what am I going to get paid?
I'd have to go back to the office and calculate that to see what year the BAF was for the 19 hours, and then you gotta keep adding the COLA every year. And then if they come back, they wouldn't get the COLA, they would get $1 an hour instead of the COLA. But that's only for the summer people, that's not our temp EAP workers.
See how confusing it is?
Yeah,
This is
I'm
what we have
getting
to,
it.
what we
I'm
always have to
understanding.
calculate.
Our COLA is 3%, Nellie?
Three,
Depends on the year.
3.5 this year,
This
but in
year.
the past, it's been a 2, it's been a, so we have to look back.
We agree
Right.
on. And what is
Exactly.
it going to be for next year? We went,
3.
3.
next year will be 3.
Yep.
So really, the main thing that this solves for us is it puts them on a schedule, just like every other employee for the county. Makes it simple for us to know exactly where they're gonna start, what their wage is gonna be, how to post that job. There's no question, there's no calculating from however many years ago to try to figure it out. It just simplifies the process. The person knows what they're gonna get. They know that next year, if they come back, they're gonna have that COLA increase, just like everybody else. It just simplifies the process.
Okay.
And then
this-
it takes care of the EAP people getting an increase because they haven't been.
Yeah.
So it
And-
kind of covers a couple
And
things.
employees would start at $20.93.
If we went by this, yes.
If we went by that.
If that's the grade and step
if
you
they're 3 years
chose.
down the road, they would get that COLA added to the number of
Yeah.
years that they've been at
Every
work.
Mhm.
I highly suggest we go with this COLA system.
And we don't have to use the grade 3, step A. That was just our lowest classification. You could do 4D, step A. I mean,
But wage-wise, are we that much higher than what we would offer a starting person? And that's what I was getting at. Would that starting person be under this $20.93?
I'd have to do the calculation to see
What
like,
did we hire them last year? Was it $18? Or was it
no, it would
higher
have been more than that, because in whatever year Sarah brought that BAF,
There.
so maybe, so 2022, they were 19.
Yeah, so I mean, we're right at the beginning wage at this 3A. And then by putting them on that, then everybody would get their step, where they would get an increase if they come back again. So we're not discouraging that. Your workers would get see the same increase as everybody else is seeing.
And did everybody stay under, I mean, the 67 days, I think, is our biggest concern because our energy
And that
assistance
would
program
change from this wage thing that we're talking about.
different for Health and Human Services Energy Assistant than it might be in how the other departments that use, you know, seasonal or summer employees. I don't know if they fall within the 67 days as well, but
Yes,
that's our biggest.
all temp workers have to be under 67 days, or the 100 and whatever if they're a student under the age of 23. That doesn't
and that's
matter
a s-
what department in that's,
No matter how many years
State
they're coming
statute.
back, no matter what.
Yes.
That stays the same.
yes.
We had some employees, Nellie did the calculations of just generalizing without names, employees, one worked 88 days, I think that one worked, I can't remember what you kind of.
There were multiple ones, I helped with that, but
Maybe your
Yeah.
spreadsheet, but.
there were multiple. They were all over a little bit, but I think when we looked at it, we looked at, the reason why they were over is that they were working outside the normal seasonal work that they were doing because they were helping out in other areas, like maybe going to the fair and doing different things like that. So it's something where, like Bob said, it's manageable by the manager. Like, you just
Absolutely.
wouldn't have those seasonal people do those extra things outside of their normal
Right.
seasonal work.
And
If
our
that makes
seasonal
sense.
work can go anywhere from August to, when you look at COVID's unusual, but that heating
Mm-hmm.
period, so April? That's more than 67 days, but.
It's
But
67
isn't
work
it
days.
67 work days?
Yes.
Yes.
So they can, I mean, they could be an employee for 8
Months
months.
and only work 67
Yes,
work
and
days.
a day counts whether they're here 15 minutes or whether they're here 10 hours.
Right.
Yes.
So that's where, and when Lisa ran the numbers and did the report, there were a decent amount of partial days. Well,
They count as a full day.
they count as a full day, even if you're only here for 2 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's gotta be really stressed when they're having these temps working, that they have to work an 8-hour day.
So with the PFMLA, new labor law, and the ESST, how does that calculate into those days?
Yeah.
good question.
That's one thing we'd have to look into is if ESST counts
As a day.
as a day towards the 67 or does it not?
Mr. Chair, so I'm just understanding this because we've had seasonal through the source well in the past. So you're talking about something different. You're talking about temp work in that division and they're budgeting for that temp work? Because when I had Sourcewell, I didn't have that in my budget. Sourcewell paid for it. And then my next question is if you apply for this Sourcewell or you apply for a seasonal worker here at the county, must they be under 23 to hire them in that position? You said something about state statute, and I'm just wondering, because when I had a seasonal, that lady was over 23. I just don't want to be
No,
illegal.
there's a longer threshold of days if they're a college student under the age, I think it's under the age of 23. They can work 100 and some days versus the 67. If they're not in the student under the age of 23 category, then it's 67 days. And it's just temp workers. It's a seasonal is more of a term kind of thrown around. We don't have seasonal and temp workers.
Oh, thank you.
They're temp workers.
That's what I
We
was
have
getting to.
interns who aren't budgeted who we get from Sourcewell and they dictate, a lot of times it's their college that dictates how many hours they need for their, internship, whatnot.
Hey, where are we at?
So we're looking for your support to support us with the recommendation of putting them on a standard pay grid, of getting them on that continual pay versus having calculated pay for each individual employee. That would be what we're asking for, is that you support us in that, pursuing that.
Barb, are you supporting that?
I think it's so much cleaner than what we're doing now. I just do.
Randy's shaking his head. How about you, Tim? Got any opinions?
Yeah, I'm in support of it. I mean, I understand the long-term employees want coming back more and more. It's a little bit.
And they're getting
Maybe not as appealing because it'd be the same wage as a brand new one, but the fact that we can get it, it's clean.
You got 3 out of 5. That's all you need.
But we can't make a decision.
No, I'm not.
It's-
I
no,
mean,
we'd
you
bring
have
it
the support
back.
of 3 of 5
Yeah.
that are here today. So
Bring it back.
you can take that as it is
All right,
and bring it to board.
perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Chair, I just wanted to, before you close the work session, I wanted to acknowledge that there was a sign up of Diane Mack, and she was a concerned citizen about County Road 81, even though she didn't speak. She was the lady sitting in the back. So for record purpose.
For the
I wanted-
record.
Yep.
For the record, everyone. Any other thing else we got today for business? Okay, if not, adjourn. Finance.